In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. The Navis Imperialis, also known as the Imperial Navy in High Gothic, stands as a formidable force within the Imperium of man. While the Astra Militarum takes charge of ground operations, it is the Imperial Navy that commands the vast fleets of starships, ensuring order and protection across the stars and planets of the Imperium. Not only does it provide crucial air and space support to the Astra Militarum's infantry through the Aeronautica Imperialis, but it also serves as the means to transport these brave guardsmen to the countless war zones scattered throughout the galaxy. The battle fleets of the Imperial Navy are in a constant state of vigilance, tirelessly combating threats both within and beyond the borders of the Imperium. In the days of the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy, the Imperial Navy was not an independent force, but rather an integral part of the larger Imperial Army. During the Great Crusade, the Armada Imperialis played a crucial role in defending Imperial space and securing strategic warp routes. Unlike the Astartes, who focused on planetary assaults, the vessels of the Imperial Navy were dedicated to safeguarding the vast expanse of the Imperium. This distinction ensured that the Armada Imperialis could effectively carry out its mission of protecting the realms of mankind. In this particular organizational structure, each Imperial cruiser was paired with a single Imperial Army regiment. The commanding officers of these regiments had authority over both their troops and the warship they were assigned to. This arrangement made each warship a versatile combined arms unit, capable of adapting tactically, and minimized the potential damage to the Imperium in case of losing a starship, its crew, and the assigned troops in the warp. However, during the Horus Heresy, it became evident that some traitor army regiments took advantage of the power bestowed upon them by the starships under their control. They used this power to establish their own interstellar empires amidst the chaos that engulfed the galaxy during the 7 brutal years of the heresy. This tendency to exploit the combined might of an Imperial starship and an Imperial Army regiment to create tyrannies on various worlds eventually led to the division of the Imperial Army into the Imperial Guard and the Imperial Navy. This division was intentionally designed to foster a bureaucratic and inter-service rivalry between the two branches. The Emperor of Mankind himself issued a decree before his confinement within the Golden Throne, stating that starships could no longer be commanded by officers from the newly formed Imperial Guard, but only by members of the Imperial Navy. The birth of the Imperial Navy can be traced back to the heroic efforts of the Great Crusade. This monumental military campaign, the grandest and most audacious in human history, would not have been achievable without the warp-capable vessels that ferried the superhuman warriors of the Space Marine legions and the countless Imperial Army soldiers from one star to another. During the Great Crusade, an astonishing variety of ships were constructed, salvaged, or repurposed. Some ships served for only a few months before becoming obsolete or succumbing to wear and tear, not to mention the losses suffered in battle. On the other hand, certain ship designs proved to be highly successful and were endlessly replicated and modified as the decades passed, earning a permanent place in the annals of warfare. The very first ships to join the ranks of the Imperium were built in the orbital foundries of Terra. Later, the Ring of Iron on Mars and the orbital shipyards of Saturn became crucial hubs for ship construction. Under the watchful eyes of the Emperor and the skilled forge rights of the Mechanicum, these shipyards played a vital role in enabling the expansion of humanity across the stars, particularly through their alliance with Mars. Driven by the Emperor's unwavering determination, the initial expeditionary fleets embarked on their journey through the vast expanse of the galaxy. Preceding these grand fleets were smaller groups of independent flotillas, led by a unique breed of leaders known as the rogue traders militant. These leaders, who were once rulers of various realms that the emperor had conquered during the Unification Wars and the Great Crusade, now commanded these smaller contingents. The emperor presented them with a clear ultimatum: either submit to his authority and pledge allegiance to the Great Crusade, or face the wrath of his mighty hand. While some definitely clung to their pride and rejected what they perceived as servitude, others willingly embraced the opportunity to serve and were granted the emperor's warrant of trade. However, this privilege came at a cost. The rogue traders militant were tasked with venturing far ahead of the advancing Great Crusade, leading their own armies and utilizing any resources bestowed upon them by the emperor. Operating at such a distance from the main crusading forces, these intrepid leaders could not rely on significant assistance if they were to encounter formidable adversaries that surpassed their own capabilities. Throughout the vast expanse of space, the rogue trader militant fleets have ventured for countless decades, their presence often resembling a motley crew of wanderers. Their starships, a mishmash of spoils from defeated foes and even peculiar alien vessels, painted a picture of their resourcefulness and adaptability. These intrepid explorers were forbidden from returning to Terra, as the Emperor, in his infinite wisdom, sought not only to eliminate potential rivals, but also to ensure that even in death, they would continue to serve humanity. Many of these brave souls met their end in obscurity, vanishing without a trace, their lives extinguished by nameless horrors lurking in the depths of space, far from the guiding light of Terra. As the Imperium expanded its reach, so too did its fleets grow in size and strength. Countless technological marvels, long lost and forgotten, were unearthed from the depths of the void. Some were seized from the clutches of unwilling guardians, while others were willingly surrendered as a tribute to the master of mankind. Among these treasures were unique vessels, crafted using methods that even the most skilled adepts of Mars could not hope to replicate. Other patterns and classes proved possible to reproduce and replicate, and before long, the various arms of the Imperium's military acquired their own distinctive panoply of warships. He Legiones Astartes ships were known for their sturdy and imposing designs, perfectly suited to withstand the relentless onslaught of enemy fire during planetary invasions. Fueled by plasma furnace hearts, these vessels housed some of the most devastating weapons in existence. However, their appearance went beyond mere functionality. Each legion's fleet showcased their unique character, from the stealthy black raiders of the Raven Guard to the ornate crimson and gold battle cruisers of the Blood Angels, and the rugged simplicity of the Iron Warriors' siege barks. In contrast, the Emperor's naval armadas boasted a wide array of ships, each tailored for dominance in the void. From majestic battleships stretching kilometers in length, bristling with concentrated armor and countless broadside batteries, to agile and lethal destroyers and sleek warp runners, to vigilant piquet frigates and massive star fortresses. And let us not forget the countless transports, arcs, conveyors and supply ships, as well as the enigmatic war engines of the Mechanicum. The Emperor's naval forces were a testament to the diversity and ingenuity of mankind's spacefaring technology. Following the defeat of Horus and the retreat of his armies into the Eye of Terror, the Imperium was left in a state of chaos and vulnerability. Years of war had taken their toll, leaving the Imperium weakened and shattered. The need for the Imperial army remained crucial, but the remaining loyalist leaders, led by Primarch Guilliman of the Ultramarines Legion, were wary of another rebellion that could bring further devastation. In the aftermath of the Horus heresy, Guilliman initiated significant changes to the civil and military administration of the Imperium, a period now known as the Imperial Reformation. To prevent the possibility of another large-scale rebellion, the immense armies of the Imperial forces were restructured. The Space Marine legions were disbanded and reorganized into separate chapters, each consisting of 1,000 Astartes. No longer would the superhuman Space Marines solely serve as the frontline military force of the Imperium. That responsibility would now be entrusted to the mortal soldiers who had once made up the Imperial army. Their numbers far surpassed those of the surviving Loyalist Space Marines, and the potential damage they could cause if they turned renegade was significantly less. The newly formed Adeptus Astartes would now focus on planetary assaults and elite special operations. As a result, the Exertus Imperialis, which had existed for centuries, ceased to exist in its previous form. The connection between the Imperial fleet and army was formally severed, ensuring that Imperial ground commanders would no longer have direct control over interstellar ships or even their own unit's air support. From the remnants of the Imperial army, two separate armed services emerged: the Imperial Navy and the Astra Militarum. In the vast expanse of Imperial planets, the Imperial Navy holds a revered title known as the Holy Fleet. The ecclesiarchy fervently preaches that the fleet is not just a mere collection of ships, but an embodiment of the God Emperor's divine will. It is considered a sacred institution, owing to the profound connection between the navigators and their ability to navigate the treacherous warp with the aid of the psychic beacon emanating from the Golden Throne, known as the Astronomicon. While it remains uncertain if this esteemed title extends to all star-faring vessels within the Imperium that rely on navigators, it is highly improbable. The Adeptus Mechanicus, with their techno-theological beliefs, would undoubtedly regard these vessels as holy in their own right. For them, every machine holds a divine essence, further reinforcing the notion of their sanctity. Moving on to how the fleets are organized. The vast Imperium is divided into 5 expansive fleet zones, famously referred to as the Segmentum Majoris. Each and every starship belonging to the Imperial Navy is assigned to one of these segmenta, falling under the authoritative command of the respective Lord High Admiral, who oversees all the naval assets within that segmentum. To honor the division of the Imperium, the naval assets of an entire segmentum are named after it. For instance, the Imperial fleet assets in the Segmentum Solar are collectively known as the Battle Fleet Solar, while those in the Ultima Segmentum are referred to as the Battle Fleet Ultima, and so forth. Within this grand hierarchy, there exist 5 Lord High Admirals, each in control of the assembled battle fleet within their respective segmentum. Although all 5 High Admirals hold equal rank, the command of the Segmentum Solar is considered the oldest and therefore holds the utmost prestige and seniority. It is not uncommon for one of these esteemed Lord High Admirals to also sit on the Senatorum Imperialis, assuming the role of a ruling High Lord of Terror. In the vast expanse of the Imperial realm, every single ship, be it civilian or military, falls under the watchful eye of one of the 5 segmenti. These segmenti act as the governing bodies for all Imperial shipping, ensuring order and efficiency. At the heart of each segmentum lies a formidable stronghold known as the Segmentum Fortress, serving as the nerve center for fleet operations within its jurisdiction. The master of the segmentum, a distinguished figure within the Adeptus Administratum, holds direct control over the Segmentum Fortress, answering solely to the esteemed Master of the Administratum. Each segmentum is split into sectors, which are like cuba-shaped regions of space. These sectors are huge, spanning 8 million cubic light-years. Within each sector, there are smaller subsectors consisting of star systems within a 20 light-year radius. The Imperial Navy's starships are organized into battle fleets, which are further divided among the sectors. The primary responsibility of these battle fleets is to protect the sector they are assigned to. Interestingly, each battle fleet is named after the sector it safeguards. For example, Battlefleet Gothic is stationed in the Gothic sector and led by a high-ranking officer known as the Lord Admiral. Speaking of battle fleets, each sector Battlefleet operates with a fleet of cruisers and battleships, typically ranging from 50 to 75 vessels. In addition to these formidable warships, the battle fleet also commands multiple squadrons of escort starships, as well as a multitude of transports, messenger craft, orbital defenses, space platforms, and system patrol vessels. The responsibilities of a battle fleet are vast and varied. They must tirelessly patrol their designated sector, undertaking a multitude of tasks. These include safeguarding Imperial merchant shipping from the clutches of pirates, transporting Astra Militarum regiments to the front lines of war zones, providing escort for Adeptus Mechanicus explorator fleets as they venture into the uncharted depths of the Imperial frontier, and offering crucial orbital support for both invading and defending armies. Given the sheer expanse of space that requires constant vigilance, a sector battle fleet is typically divided into detachments known as battle groups. Each battle group consists of 1 or 2 cruisers, accompanied by a squadron of escorts. However, should a situation arise that surpasses the capabilities of a single battle group, additional detachments of battle groups or squadrons are swiftly called upon to reinforce the efforts. Sometimes a battle fleet can be assembled to operate in a more confined region compared to a whole sector. Battlefleet Armageddon is exclusively assigned to the Armageddon subsector, and before the Third War for Armageddon, consisted of 4 battleships, 27 cruisers, and 36 squadrons of escorts. On the other hand, Battlefleet Solar is specifically tasked with safeguarding the solar system and its 2 revered worlds, Terra and Mars, which hold immense significance within the Imperium. The Imperial Navy's fleet consists of various vessels, categorized into 3 main sizes: battleships and grand cruisers, cruisers, and escorts. However, for the sake of efficiency, let's focus on battleships. Battleships are colossal starships armed with an overwhelming number of weapons and formidable void shields. They often serve as the flagship for an Imperial Lord Admiral, though there are exceptions. While incredibly powerful, battleships are not the most agile and can be quite slow to maneuver. Within the Imperial Navy, there are 3 primary classes of battleships: the Emperor, capable of carrying a vast array of attack craft alongside its regular armament; the Victory, renowned for its heavy lance batteries; and the Retribution, distinguished by its immense broadside firepower and abundance of torpedo tubes. Imperial battleships, depending on the source, can accommodate crews ranging from 25,000 to a staggering 3,000 men, or even more. These crews include a significant number of Imperial Navy armsmen who are trained to defend against enemy boarding assaults. In terms of size, battleships can stretch up to a colossal 8 kilometers from prow to stern and displace an incredible amount of weight, reaching billions of tons. The construction of these behemoths demands an immense allocation of resources and a highly advanced technical infrastructure for maintenance. As a result, battleships are typically built exclusively in the largest shipyards orbiting the major Adeptus Mechanicus Forge worlds. These shipyards serve as the birthplace of these precious assets of the Imperium, which are meticulously preserved and deployed primarily in larger fleet formations and critical engagements. On board these magnificent vessels, the Imperial Navy officer class, including admirals, captains, commanders, and first lieutenants, are provided with opulent accommodations. In fact, a significant portion of a large battleship's command deck is dedicated to lavish staterooms, onto weapons and defenses. Most Imperial warships rely on weapons batteries as their main source of firepower. These batteries are composed of multiple layers of individual weapons, resulting in extensive coverage of the starship's hull with gun ports, launcher systems, turrets, and weapon housings. The range of weapons used in these batteries is incredibly diverse. From plasma projectors and close-range missile launchers to laser cannons, railguns, and more Imperial warships boast an impressive arsenal. These batteries are strategically designed to unleash coordinated salvos, maximizing the chances of hitting a target and inflicting significant damage. Imperial warships rely on macro weaponry as their primary starship armaments. These formidable weapons, such as massive cannons, unleash devastating barrages of fire to obliterate their targets. Among the various types of macro cannons utilized by the Imperial warships, one stands out: the Disruption Macro Cannon. Unlike its counterparts, this variant fires a unique shell composed of highly charged ionized deuterium atoms. While it may not cause significant physical damage, its purpose is to overload and disable the power transfer systems of enemy vessels. This makes it an invaluable asset for warships that aim to capture their adversaries intact. The Styges pattern bombardment. Cannons are the epitome of destruction, designed to obliterate planetary defenses and provide support during military landings. These fearsome weapons utilize linear accelerators to launch a barrage of heavy magma bomb warheads, reducing everything in their path to rubble. Although they have a relatively short range, the mere rumor of these cannons being present on orbiting vessels is often enough to compel a swift surrender. Imperial lances are no ordinary weapons. They are the epitome of power in the form of directed energy. These colossal laser guns, securely housed within heavily fortified turrets, are known as lance batteries. Unlike their handheld counterparts, lances have the advantage of drawing energy from the ship's plasma reactor, allowing them to unleash prolonged bursts of devastating firepower. When a lance is fired, a brilliant beam of coherent light connects the weapon to its intended target, earning it the fitting name Lance. To concentrate their energy into a formidable beam, lances employ triple or even quad-arranged energy projectors, capable of slicing through the toughest armored hulls and cleaving smaller vessels in two. The versatility of lance batteries is remarkable. They can either focus their sustained firepower on a specific location of a target, or, with a slight adjustment of the projector, rake across the target's surface. In many cases, multiple batteries combine these firing modes, aiming to overwhelm the enemy's void shields and unleash devastating damage upon them. Now for something a little more explosive. Torpedoes, the massive self-propelled ship-to-ship missiles, are a force to be reckoned with. Despite their expensive maintenance, these weapons possess immense destructive potential. Many captains capitalize on their enemies' aversion to torpedoes, using them strategically to dominate battles and force their adversaries to move in specific directions. There are different variations of torpedoes, each varying in length depending on the type of ship they are deployed on. Destroyers carry torpedoes that are over 60 meters long, while cruisers have ones that measure 200 meters in length. Battleships, on the other hand, boast torpedoes that are a staggering 300 meters long. These torpedoes are equipped with a powerful warhead and a short-lived plasma reactor, similar to those used by starships and titans, albeit less stable. Once launched, torpedoes accelerate rapidly from their tubes, hurtling through the void in a straight line towards their intended target. While many torpedoes are fired as a deterrent, never actually making contact, each individual weapon has the potential to inflict significant damage upon a void ship. This fact alone instills fear in the hearts of many captains. Guided by a crude yet deadly machine spirit, which is an artificial intelligence, and aided by the calculations of a ship's master of ordnance, torpedoes utilize basic augury sensors to scan for various indicators. These include the heat emitted by plasma drives, the silhouette of a target, any electronic output, and even the mass of an enemy ship. These sensors help the torpedo locate enemy vessels with precision. Once the machine spirit locks onto its target, powerful thrusters adjust the torpedo's course to intercept the enemy ship. Unlike weapons batteries and lances, torpedoes cannot be deflected by a ship's void shields. Most shields are designed to intercept incoming fire based on its speed, but torpedoes travel at a slower pace, allowing them to bypass these powerful energy barriers unimpeded. Upon impact, the sheer forward momentum drives the torpedo deep into the structure of the enemy vessel. It is at this moment that the warhead and plasma reactor detonate, unleashing devastation far surpassing that of a single lance strike or macro cannon shell. The destructive power of torpedoes is truly awe-inspiring. Some examples of torpedoes that the Imperial Navy includes are plasma warheads. The go-to choice for Imperial torpedoes, these explosives are specifically designed to tear through the armored hull of starships with their incredible speed. Once inside the target vessel, the plasma reactor that powers the torpedo's drive goes into overdrive, adding to the explosive force upon detonation. This simplicity in design makes their production straightforward, making them the preferred choice for Imperial Navy warships. Melter warheads. Starship captains tremble at the mere mention of these weapons, as they are even more terrifying than standard torpedoes. Rare and exceptionally brutal, melter warheads unleash a meticulously coordinated series of melter charges upon impact, engulfing the target in a raging inferno that devours hull plating and engulfs sections of the ship's interior. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, only a few Forge worlds retain the knowledge and expertise to manufacture the elusive vortex warheads. These extraordinary weapons are far from ordinary explosive charges. They are intricate devices that possess the ability to tear open the fabric of reality itself. Once unleashed, the vortex warhead creates a swirling vortex that greedily devours anything within its blast radius, leaving behind a trail of destruction on the target vessel. The reputation of these nightmarish weapons spreads rapidly among targeted crews, striking fear into the hearts of all who hear of them. In terms of defense, ships in the Navy can be equipped with void shields. These shields form an invisible band of energy around the vessel, a variable layer of force that can absorb radiation, interstellar dust, particle showers, and weapons hits. Shields have a maximum tolerance and can be overloaded by sustained weapons fire, forcing the generators to shut down temporarily to vent the excess kinetic or direct energy. I hope you liked my overview about the Imperial Navy for the Imperium of Man. Subscribe to see more Warhammer 40k lore videos. Don't forget to drop a like and a comment down below to appease the machine spirit.